Imagine being so antisocial that when the police knock on your door, you don't just hide, you literally start a 48-day war. We're talking dynamite, aerial dogfights, and a 150-mile chase across the freezing subarctic. This is the legend of Albert Johnson. Welcome back to Canadian Chronicles. Today we're diving into a story so wild it makes Grand Theft Auto look like a petting zoo. Strap in, because this guy turned a minor trapping dispute into a literal action movie that captivated the entire world. It's July 1931. A man rolls into the Northwest Territories. He calls himself Albert Johnson, but nobody knows who he actually is. He's got no backstory, a thick accent, and more cash in his pockets than a lottery winner. Total main character energy. He builds a cabin at Rat River, but this wasn't a cozy cottage. It was a log fortress with reinforced walls and double-locked doors. He lived there in total silence, probably just plotting how to win the world's longest game of Get Off My Lawn. Local trappers got annoyed because Albert was allegedly messing with their lines. They called the RCMP to go check his vibes. The cops showed up, knocked on the door, and Albert just sat there. Pure, unadulterated silence. He was ghosting the police in real life. When they came back with a warrant, Constable King knocked again. This time, Albert answered. With a bullet through the door, King was hit. The officers had to retreat 80 miles by dog sled through a blizzard just to save his life. The war had officially begun. The RCMP didn't play. They came back with 9 men, 42 dogs, and enough dynamite to start a mining colony. They literally threw sticks of dynamite onto the roof. The whole cabin basically disintegrated in a massive orange fireball. Most people would be like, okay, I surrender. Not Albert. He crawled into a frozen trench and started a shootout from the rubble. The police ran out of food and had to leave. When they returned, Albert was gone. He'd vanished into a minus 40-degree blizzard. The manhunt lasted for weeks. Albert was a ghost. He walked in caribou trails to hide his tracks and backtracked constantly to confuse them. He was building tiny fires under snowbanks to stay warm without being seen. This guy was playing at a level we can't even comprehend. At one point, he climbed a vertical 7,000-foot icy cliff during a storm, a cliff that local hunters said was impossible to scale. He crossed the Richardson Mountains like he was just out for a morning jog. The guy was basically a winter-themed superhero villain. The RCMP were desperate, so they called in the legend Wap May. This was the first time a plane was ever used in a manhunt. Wap May was the original eye in the sky. He spotted Albert's tracks from the air where the Eagle and Bell Rivers meet. Game over, man! On February 17th, 1932, the posse finally caught up. Albert tried to run, but he was trapped on the frozen river with nowhere to hide. He dove into the snow and used his heavy pack as a shield. It was a chaotic shootout that lasted for what felt like forever. Albert was finally taken down. But when they searched him, the story got even weirder. They found over $2,000 in cash. In 1932, that was a fortune. He also had pearls and gold teeth, but absolutely zero identification. No letters, no name, nothing. Who was he? To this day, we still don't know his real name. Was he a criminal from the States? A runaway from Europe? A literal phantom? Scientists even dug him up for DNA testing a few years ago. The result? They're still not sure. He took his secret to the grave. So, Albert Johnson, antisocial icon or dangerous outlaw? Either way, he's a permanent legend of the Canadian North. If you love this wild ride, smash that like button and subscribe to Canadian Chronicles for more insane history. See ya!